appointed after he met with Ho Chi Minh in November 1958. He not only did not quite confirm that he was the author of the work, instead, he deliberately avoided answering that question.
Ho Chi Minh has a book of Chinese poems. It's called Prison Diary, Ngục Chung Nhật Ký. It was claimed in 1960 that Ho Chi Minh was the author of that book. But there's a lot of internal evidence showing that we could doubt very much that authorship. Whereas Ho Chi Minh was imprisoned by Chiang Kai-shek only in 1942-43. Then the amount of poems in there is also very questionable. Sometimes it's claimed that it has 100 poems, at other times 120, at other times 135, and now people even talk about possibly 150. Then you look at the content of these poems, then you see in cases that the author of the poems, for instance, praised Chiang Kai-shek for his victories over the Japanese. So it's very, very peculiar that Ho Chi Minh, a Vietnamese patriot, would then praise Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalist government. And because of that, in the translation, sometimes Hanoi has had to doctor the translation, put in there things that are not in the original in order to make reference to Vietnam.
Hanoi historians have done their best to paint Ho Chi Minh as a man without a fault. What they end up with is a caricature that has nothing with the real man as we know him. On this score, the most egregious distortion of Ho's life probably has to do with his relations to women. Readers of Hanoi's hagiographies of Ho Chi Minh would never know that he could be human, with sexual needs and needs for affections like the rest of us. No, he had to be a saint, sacrificing every personal happiness to the cause of the revolution. Such a version carries with it consequences that amount to big lies and injustices. For instance, if outside of Vietnam, Ho's love life is pretty well known, inside the country, one could go to jail or at least lose one's job for claiming something different other than the official version.
In 1992, basing herself on French and Chinese sources, Vu Kim Han, the editor-in-chief of the immensely popular magazine Doi Jia, reported that Ho Chi Minh had a Chinese wife in the person of Zhang Sui Ming, Tang Duet Ming, whom he married in 1926 in a ceremony witnessed by Chu Enlai's wife, and had with her a daughter. Right away, she was relieved of her post at the paper. In his giant biography of Ho Chi Minh, A Life, William Duiker was very well disposed towards the man as a political leader in a difficult time. Because of this, Hanoi had wanted to have the book translated into Vietnamese, which certainly would have made a smashing success in Vietnam.
The project, however, fell through, because when it came to Ho's relations with 5 women, the Hanoi editors would have none of it. They asked for permission to expunge those passages, but Duiker rightfully refused, and so that was the end of what would certainly turn out to be a very profitable deal for both sides. According to Huan Zhen, Deputy Director of Guangxi University Institute of Social Sciences and the author of the book Ho Chi Minh and China, Zhang Sui Ming, a native of Mai District, born in Canton in October 1905, was the only woman officially married to Ho. Their wedding was organized at the Taiping restaurant and witnessed by Tai Shang, Deng Yin Chao, the wife of Zhu Enlai, the future premier of Communist China.
It seems that somewhere along the line, Ho Chi Minh and the Communist Party decided that it would be safer for him not to have any family ties. And we can now understand why, I think, if you look at the situation in North Korea and the dynasty that's been established there. But But Ho Chi Minh certainly did have relationships with women, and how official they were is a question, but definitely in 1926, when he was still in Guangzhou, one of his comrades found a young Cantonese woman for him to marry, so that, as he put it in one of his letters, he was looking for someone to help him keep order in his home and to help him learn Cantonese. So this was Thuy Minh, who became his consort in probably October 26. Ho Chi Minh has to leave China in May of 1927 and goes back to Moscow, and after that he never sees this woman again for various reasons. One good reason is that she was a friend of a man who was widely believed to have been a French spy in Ho Chi Minh's organization, Lam Duc Thu. So there are good reasons why he wouldn't want to have contact with her when he returns to southern China in 1929. Then there's other evidence in the Comintern archives and the French archives that he had someone that his colleagues referred to as his wife by 1934, when he went back to Moscow and when a group of Vietnamese was preparing to travel there for the 7th Comintern Congress. In a couple of the letters actually that were sent back to the Comintern by the acting party head at that point, Ha Huy Tap, who took control when Lê Hồng Pham went to Moscow, he was listing the members of the delegation in a letter and said in one of them that Quoc's wife was going to be attending. And we know that the only woman among the Vietnamese group was Nguyen Thi Minh Khai. So that seems to show that there was something there. And in another letter, he refers to her as Ba Vai, because that must have been one of her pseudonyms, because she was a traveling cloth merchant in Nghệ An. And then when this young woman gets to Moscow, she has to fill in the personnel form that everybody is familiar with, and all your background, your personal relationships, the jobs that you've held. And on a line that says marital status, she writes married, and then she's written something and crossed it out, which looks like Quoc, and then she's written in Linh.
Nhưng mà người vợ mà ít ai biết của ông Hồ Chí Minh.
The least known of Ho Chi Minh's wives is the revolutionary Nguyen Thi Vinh, who later changed her name to Nguyen Thi Minh Khai, the older sister of Vo Nguyen Giap's wife. She went to Hong Kong to become Ho Chi Minh's personal secretary. Ho did not report to his Russian handler that he was about to get married. He was ordered to wait for 2 months, but Ho did not do so. At Tet that year, 1931, he introduced Nguyen Thi Minh Khai as his new bride. They managed to live with each other for only a few months, because soon after the international communist agents in Asia were rounded up by the colonial police, Ho Chi Minh was thrown in jail and eventually brought to trial.
The suppression of the truth about Ho Chi Minh's women resulted in a horrific incident that took the lives of 3 innocent women whose only crime is to be, in one case, sexually involved with him, and in the other 2, to be cognizant of that relationship. The protagonist of this tragedy is named Nong Thi Xuan, an ethnic minority woman who was taken to